I'm tired of being defensive. We need to get on the offense.
Yes.
I'm tired of saying, no, I'm not racist. No, that's not true. No. I'm tired of being, no, you guys are freaking idiots. You guys are liars. You guys are scum.
Yeah.
You guys are demons. You guys are agents. You guys do not belong in the conversation if you're going to come with this nonsense. You guys need to be ousted. You guys need to be debunked and just shamed and not even acknowledged. Not even acknowledged. We need to go on the offense. Hello everyone. This is Burning Spear Patriot back again with a One Patriot podcast, joined along with the lovely Libby Lioux Patriot.
Hi, thanks for joining us.
Tonight, this podcast is going to be about two topics. One is going to be on CRT, and the other one is going to be on something that I just was thinking about at work that really just like has been irritating me, and it's been irritating me for especially from 2018 elections and then the 2020 elections. Suburban college-educated women. So we're going to first dive into the CRT. There has been a maximum effort to implement CRT into our children's education. The biggest teachers union, the NEA, I don't even know what it stands for, but I know that it's the biggest teachers union in the country, has taken big steps to make CRT their number one priority. And this is very alarming. The teachers unions, most of them are, unions period, are pretty, they're pretty socialist when you look at them. Like a lot of unions are like, have a socialist element to them. But the teachers union, for them to take this doctrine that is rooted in Marxism and put maximum effort into implementing it into our children's schools, it's not surprising at all.
Mm. Well, the thing about it too is this entire time everybody's like, oh, critical race theory isn't being taught in K through 12. Don't worry, Karen. Like,
well, that's being debunked.
Completely debunked.
Yeah. And
like you said, their statement that they came out with, I actually have it right here, that clearly outlines their agenda, right? So, and then I haven't even had the chance to talk to you about this yet, but I came across a strategic guide to anti-racist teaching. And basically it's like, one, it's like LGBT.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
it's got the colors and everything.
LGBT, and it's basically what critical race theory does and how you can talk about it. So basically, it's like a guide to circumvent the systems where it says, oh, you can't teach critical race theory. It's like, it's if you can't say this, say this. And
it's a way to give their allies and their supporters talking points. And it's a way to put syrup and sprinkles over poop.
Yeah.
To serve it to people.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like to me.
Because when people see this, like, parents
they reject
are like,
it. It's rejected.
What?
It's rejected when people see it for what it is.
Right. When it says like things like let's see. Examine how laws and systems promote inequality. Actually, let's not do that one. Educate people on how race and racism function in law and society. Instead of saying that, the best way to work towards true equality is by examining our laws and how they might unfairly advantage some people over others. So it's like, of course, when it's framed up in this light, in this way, because America is not inherently a racist country, of course we've been taught equality, treat people as equals for my entire generation.
Mm-hmm.
So
when somebody sees that a group is not being treated equal, the natural reaction to it, especially from a normal person that might have this perceived privilege that is that they have grown up with and have lived their life with, they're gonna automatically feel like it's like the whole white guilt thing. They're gonna automatically feel like, wow, am I that disconnected from the world? Am I that, am I racist? Am I, I don't want to be labeled as a racist. I'm going to do whatever I can to prove that I'm not a racist, to prove that I do have sympathy and empathy, whatever you want to call it, for these folks who have gripes and folks who have issues with the system. So I'm going to do whatever it takes to make them feel safe and comfortable. Even if I have to give up my livelihood, even if I have to give up my child's livelihood, I'm going to do whatever. Even if it's detrimental to my own child, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make whatever X group feel safe and comfortable and feel satisfied, so we can all live calm and in harmony. And it's this is what they do. They are able to play with people's emotions, play them up, and to get what they want, which is ultimately power. And that's all this is about.
Right. At the end of the day,
that is what this is.
Because, okay, when you look at critical race theory, yes, it's we all know at this point it stems from a collegiate level, right? Like, mm-hmm. That's where it starts. But it's now, and in that framework, I'm fine with it, mm-hmm. right? Like, sure, let's analyze things. That's what we learn in college, right? Yeah, critical thinking, of course.
Yes, and I think it should stay in college, and it should be, it should stay in that, frame or that, capacity.
Right.
Critical race theory has no business being funded by taxpayer dollars. Mm. Has no business being implemented in K through 12 grade school.
Right. Except now they see an opportunity to utilize it and rework it in this framework for, like you said, power. Right?
Yes.
That's what
this is a way to divide everyone. This is a way. What do you have to do? And I've talked to you about this before. The powers that be, they pretty much hate everybody. The elitists, the globalists. They especially hate white suburbia. They especially hate nuclear families. So we're going to talk about white suburbia, but
can't wait.
For the most part, they hate them because they represent middle class, the middle class, they represent personal ownership. They represent, because these are the people who drive, are the driving force of the country, the middle class, suburban America, and the working class. These are the people who are standing in the way of the globalists and the tippy top from having 100% complete power. They want to drive down the middle class down to the poverty level, or down to the level to where everybody is the same.
Right.
They don't. The more tiers and the more groups there are, the worse off globalists are, because they're going to, number one, they're going to lose their elite status. And when you have a person that is on a level of a middle class or a little bit higher, they are that much closer to, filling up the tent. These people who are at the top, they don't like a lot of people where they're at. They don't want that group to be big. They want that group to stay to a select few people. They want that group to stay to a exclusive group.
Because they don't want to distribute the power.
Absolutely. And people who are at the middle class are, higher or at a tax bracket where they're kind of scraping at the top, or they're knocking on the door. The more people they let in, the worse off, because then they have to share that power.
Yep.
So they hate the middle class. They hate suburbia. They hate anybody who is a working class person. They don't like law-abiding citizens. They want to drive those type of people down to the class of people that are, I don't want to say, the dregs of society, but like I would just say like the lower class people. They want everybody to live in the same level.
Right.
They don't like the multiple tiers.
The easily manipulated level.
Absolutely.
Because they hold all the leverage.
Yes.
Which therein comes the Marxism.
Mm-hmm.
It's rooted in critical race theory, BLM.
Mm-hmm.
It's trying to weasel its way in.
Yes, absolutely. And this is what we're up against. And if we don't start taking an active role in this, or taking an active position in resisting this,
right,
this is going to be it's going to be devastating.
It will be, because here's the thing, it's like there's a lot of talk right now about like, oh, well, no one even knows what critical race theory is.
They really don't though.
No, that's true. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't. There isn't like a singular definition of it, right? But that makes me go, okay, well then why is it being pushed so hard? What's the ulterior motive? And then as I'm reading more about critical race theory and reading about how it's basically attacking all of our systems, right? Like all of our systems are...
All our institutions.
All of our institutions.
Military, federal level.
Everything is racist. Everything has to be torn down and start over again. That seems like a clear indication. Okay, well, then that's the end goal of what critical race theory is being implemented for, right?
Yes,
like to tear down America. This
is the whole thing about, isn't that what the big reset is about? Or some partially about that?
Partially.
Yeah. Critical race theory, it is one, and I know a lot of, like, I've seen some people who have opposed this, even people who are supposedly on the right. The thing is that it is anti-white. Yes, it is definitely anti-white. But you have these people who are saying, no, we can't say that it's anti-white because then that's going to be, you're going to give them what they want. Because if you say anti-white, what you're doing is you're just like, that's a losing battle. And people don't get triggered when you say anti-white. They just say that, well, you're just a racist if you say it's anti-white. But don't you think that's the sad thing?
That
like,
is the
if
sad
something
thing.
is anti-white, it should trigger people into being like, hey, no, anything that's anti-white is bad.
Yes.
Just like anything that's anti-black is bad. Anything that's anti-Asian or anti-Latino is bad.
Yep.
This is the thing. That's the sad thing about it. And this is like,
well, again, it comes back to, okay, you look at the, like, language is so powerful, right?
yes.
We look recently at which Smithsonian institution was it? The Black Heritage. I can't remember specifically what it was. Back in 2020, maybe even early 2021.
Yeah, the museum.
The museum that says, like, these are all the things about whiteness.
Yes.
That are bad, right?
Mm-hmm. But it was crazy because, like, they were attributing positive things to white, culture, and they're making it out as if that's bad. And I'm like, what the?
Exactly. Well, that's, again, it circles back to, this ideological subversion where they're saying, like, oh, these things are, here's all these things that are white, right? These very positive things that have built a very successful country, right?
Yes.
Yes, we're not perfect. Setting that aside for now. It's still the best country in the world, in my opinion. Okay, so we have it, and it's saying, like, here's all these things very clearly anti-white. And then over here, critical race theory is saying, oh, no, we're not anti-white, but really it is. And so it's going to attack all those things that are positive. Like, again, just full circle. It's not a small thing that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It's huge, and yes, it should be triggering more people when it's saying, like, anti-white. Well, first of all, it's just terrible, right? Like, telling people that they're, especially children. How's that not triggering to tell, like, white kids that they're bad, that, like, you're sending them to school to teach them that they inherently hate people?
Because
that they're oppressing people? They're the oppressors? What about biracial kids?
Yeah, it's a tactic that Hitler used to do, or used to use. He always used to say, I think it was something along the lines like, I don't need to spread propaganda to everybody on the news. I've got your children. So that next generation of children, we're just going to, this is their goal, is to get your children.
1,000%. Yes. Oh my gosh, did you see the gay choir in San Francisco?
Mm-mm.
Oof. They did this song that was like, basically, yes, we are coming after your kids. Like, it is our goal to...
Oh, yeah. I think I did see... I didn't see it, but I saw, like, the headline to it. I didn't click on it, but I did see... Yes, you're right. I did see... Saying, oh, yeah, we got your children. LGBT is coming after the children.
There's this debate specifically about that song. It's like, oh, no, they're talking about... we're just going to we're coming after your kids to teach them to love everybody. And it's like, no.
You're coming to indoctrinate.
And
you're coming to groom.
Like, no. Get the hell out of here with your kink shit. Like, do your thing, but you're not coming over here to, like...
Yeah, no. I mean, it was that Washington Post opinion article that... They outright admitted what they wanted to do. They wanted to get introduce your child to kink.
Yep.
And it is totally disgusting. YouTube might take this channel down because it's talking about children in a manner of kink, but all we're doing is exposing what they've said.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's what we're facing right now.
Mm-hmm.
That our channel could get a strike for saying that children shouldn't be exposed to kink culture.
Yeah, because here's what they do. They're gonna say, "Oh, you're talking about children in a context of kink and sex." So they're gonna say they're going to be able to they're going to use that, and they're going to say that, "See, this channel is talking about pedo stuff. This channel is a pedophile channel, or this channel is pushing out, pedophilia."
Even though that's what we're actively pushing against.
It doesn't matter. The words are the words are there. Child, kink. They're gonna just they're gonna, that's their algorithm. It's their AI. It's what they do. It's how they are able to censor and how they are able to keep people, specifically on the conservative side, silenced. So these people they're very brilliant, actually. They're smart, but they're also evil. So it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I'm at this point, I'm kind of fed up. I'm really upset with the way things are going, especially with the censorship. I am glad that Donald Trump did file the suit.
Yeah, me too.
Against big tech. We'll see where that goes. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Maybe. I think I was watching. Yeah, I was watching Tim Pool today, and he said maybe it's a thing where he'll throw spaghetti up against the wall and see what sticks. So we'll see. I don't know. I have high hopes. I hope that something comes out of it positive, especially for our side, because these companies do need to be put in check. These big tech companies need to be regulated as far as, and I'm not about big government on anything, but this, when it's starting to affect and they start abusing their power, they are influencing elections in a way where they are actively a political weapon for one side against the other side. Right. You are actively censoring news. You are actively censoring things that can hurt the other side that you are that they are for.
Want to talk about like voter suppression?
Yeah, that is voter suppression right there. That is voter info suppression.
Exactly. That's a better way to phrase it. But yeah, because we've talked about it before, but when Biden came out, the Hunter Biden story came out about his laptop, right?
Yeah.
Mainstream media suppressed it. Facebook suppressed it. Everybody suppressed it. It wasn't until after the actual election was like, oh yeah, that was real. And people were suddenly like, oh, well, I wouldn't have voted for him.
Same thing with the
clear indicator that's election interference.
Same thing with the thing with Trump and the how he supposedly cleared out the streets so he can hold a Bible in front of the church. Same thing with the whole BS about him standing on a military person's grave and calling military people all absurd names, and nobody believed that. But like, what it did was it because when they come out with the correction, it's always too late because it's already ran a news cycle, and their corrections are always it's always late, and mainstream media doesn't pick up on it. Besides maybe Fox News or something. Maybe one of the opinion shows pick up on it. But other than that, it's like these were not the only cases either. This was multiple times where they lied about President Trump, and it turned out, they made a correction months later after the election. After Biden was solidified, they just, okay, now we can come out with the truth.
Yeah.
And by that time, nobody cares at that point.
No.
They've already got their opinion. So
yeah,
it's unfortunate, but that's what happens when you let all of these left-wingers take over all the institutions. Like I said, conservatives, it's your fault. It's your fault. And I'm seeing it with the it's really disheartening to see this. Suburban women, I don't understand. I really don't understand what is their angle. Why? Here's the only reason why I would see why they would want to vote the way they have in these last two elections. They want to be a part of an elite group. The Democrats are the party of the elites. They want to be in the in crowd. They want to be cool. They want to be considered on the right side of history. Even though this particular political party is doing everything in their power to see them be destroyed, to see their
wiped off
the planet, they want to get rid of your communities. They want to get rid of your nuclear family, which is crazy because that is the most important thing to a suburban mom is her children and her family. And they are actively trying to get rid of that. They are trying to put project homes and apartment buildings, public housing in suburbia. And this is what you're voting for? You want to see your suburban community destroyed? I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, Blackstone is buying up a bunch of property right now.
Yeah.
Buying up a bunch of property. This is in urban areas. You don't think that they're going to try to come in to suburban areas and do the same thing? And then when they do that, where are you going to go? Where are you going to go?
Nowhere. You're going to be
It's disgraceful.
To live with
it. They take this and they take this and they see this and they still vote overwhelmingly
because it hasn't come to their community yet. It's still enough of a buffer to be like,
I can have my moral vote
my moral superiority but still have my distance, my ivory tower. Like, I'm still good until it comes to your community, and then they're going to be screaming, and then you better believe that they're going to be outraged and marching up and down. Yeah,
at this point, I almost want it to happen. I'm sorry, but I feel bad about saying this, but then again, I don't. Because I almost want this to happen because this is what they voted for. This is, and it's almost because the way that they vote, like you just described, so they can sit in their little, they have their little buffer. They can say, oh, look at the poor urban cities that are being just destroyed by the system. We have to do something about this.
Yeah, let's bring that same system to our communities. That makes a lot of
but they don't realize it though. I don't think they know this. I don't think they I don't think the average suburban mom or mother is concerned about like being initiated or concerned about trying to learn the facts. All they see is what they see when they are, they're in their house and they put on CNN or they put on MSNBC. And what they're seeing is Orange Man bad 100%. all the time.
I hate.
And they're seeing an orange man that is putting out mean tweets. Oh, he's such a disgusting buffoon. Like, oh my God, this guy is leading our. We need somebody who has dignity and can,
Right.
and we need somebody who is respectful, even though that person is a globalist, even though that person is a person that's not looking out for the best interests of you and your family. They are more concerned about pleasing their global elites.
Well, I don't even know if it's. I don't even think you have to go as far as like they're concerned about pleasing their global elites. I think, this has been an issue in suburbia for quite some time, right? Like the keeping up with the Joneses type kind. Well, I don't know if that's a direct, but the idea that you wanna fit in, you don't want to go against, because if you do, that is a rough crowd. They will chew you up and spit you out if you go against the grain, right? It's not. There are a lot of community politics involved if you go against the grain.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, in a lot of ways too, this might be silly, but I feel like it's somewhat akin to, like, so yes, you don't want to go against the grain. It's the same reason why Tupperware parties were so popular, right? Like,
yeah, you have their little clubs and
they got their little clubs. They got their little, like, oh, you don't want to buy Tupperware? Like, oh, you don't want Mary Kay? Like, and then you end up with, a garage full of Mary Kay product.
that's hoarded and never been used.
Yes,
here's the thing, and this is why I say shame on all the suburban women that switched over. And this has been done. This was done in the last, and I don't understand. They were 100% for a globalist like Bush that didn't have their best interest at heart. They were more concerned of, making sure that they can fill the pockets of their globalist buddies, whether it be through the oil industry or whether it be through the military industrial complex. That's what his administration was about. And suburban women overwhelmingly, if I'm not mistaken, maybe not overwhelmingly, but they voted for Bush in pretty large numbers. I don't know if it was more than Gore or Kerry, but they came out for Bush and they voted for Bush. But when it came to Trump, a lot of them switched over to Democrats, especially in 2018 and in 2020. Now,
probably because they felt bamboozled, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, but the idea of suburbia came from the 50s when you had the World War II that had ended, and you got all these families that wanted to get away from all the urban city craziness, and they wanted to create their own community. And that is a conservative idea, the nuclear family, the idea of raising your kids in a safe environment with law and order, and being able to send your kids to school, to safe schools, so they don't have to worry about some thug or some criminal harming their kids or raping their wives or whatever, or their sisters. Mm-hmm. It's an idea that has came from conservatives, and to see them abandon conservatives and populism, it's mind-boggling to me, and I say shame on them.
Well, I think part of it too, that when analyzing it, yes, you are absolutely correct. Like, for those that were able to vote for in the eras that you're talking about, and then shifting to, let's talk, Biden.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying,
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I'm not necessarily saying that that's what they voted for, like during World War II. I'm just saying, like, that was a conservative, like, this is what, if suburban women didn't like where they are at, they would not live in suburbia. They would live somewhere else. They would live amongst the people that they have such a bleeding heart for. So I don't know if you were getting to that point, like, but I just wanted to make that quick point that this is a conservative idea. Suburbia is rooted in conservatism. The fact that they are not supporting conservative politicians, it puzzles me. I don't get it.
Well, I think a lot of it too is generational, right? Like, coming out of World War II, a lot of those wives, a lot of those women saw the horrors of what had happened in those wars, like their husbands coming home, their loved ones coming home, and like being so appreciative and wanting to build these communities, right? And now it's like a lot of the suburban women are younger, millennials, Gen X yet? I don't know about Gen X yet, but millennials for sure, right? I'm sorry, not Gen X. Gen Z? Mm-hmm. Gen X is older.
Gen X is still in suburbia, yeah.
Yeah, so Gen X, millennials, and then you have Gen Z who's coming into it and starting to come into suburbia and infiltrate a little bit. So I think that's part of the dynamic there, is that
yes, you're right.
Idea of suburbia is, and why it was started. They don't have the context, the feeling, the same camaraderie.
And you're right, because these are all college-educated women who have went and gotten education in their indoctrination camps, and they come back, they get married, and they want to. Some of them still have that, mentality of the system is broken, even though they're living in a
right.
The system is broken, but you have a nice house, you're raising a family, and these people are weirdos. I call them weirdos, I call them champagne socialists too, and I call them limousine liberals. These are the people that live comfortably, live nice, but when it comes to, like, they want to have their limousine, they want to have their champagne, right, but they also want to be able to say, hey, I am morally a good person because I want to fight for climate change, I want to fight for LGBT, I want to fight for BLM, I want to do all this other crap.
You know what I want all these suburban women to do then that are such advocates for it? Go 30 minutes across town. Mm-hmm. Find a neighborhood and just pick up trash.
Yeah.
Right? Just pick up trash.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go scrub graffiti.
Yeah.
Go tutor in impoverished neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. Use your college education. Volunteer at food banks. Put your money where your mouth is. Don't just shell out cash and shout out on social media like, so, look at me, I bought this black-owned business shawl or whatever. I don't know. Cool. I mean, that's fine in a sense, but it's like, get your hands dirty. Do something. If you prove it to me that, like, you're willing to do these things and actually get engaged and involved, then I'll give you somewhat of a platform. I'll support the platform you stand on in your...
I'll respect it more.
Right.
I would have more respect if they did. A lot of them did put their money where their mouth is,
but circling back to it, the point you were talking about is now that all these suburban areas are because they haven't put their money where their mouth is, because they're in their, you know, I shouldn't say all of them, but in their urban or suburban utopia, you know, it's like, and they're so disconnected, and they haven't actually put their, you know, money where their mouth is. They haven't actually gotten involved, and they haven't actually helped solve any of the problems that they're grandstanding about. Those problems are starting to come to their communities, just like you were talking about. And it's going to be a rude awakening.
It was funny. I was watching this YouTube video where these, a bunch of like these kids, it was like a Chicago suburban, it was a Chicago suburban neighborhood. And a bunch of these people that came from the city or the urban areas came and just started like having like this crazy party in the streets. You have people yelling, screaming, jumping on people's cars, entering people's property, throwing trash everywhere. Just like, it just happened. I saw it. Act Nation had this video, and then it was on the news, and you know how he likes to, I don't know if you know Act Nation. He what he does is he looks at these videos of news stories, and he'll commentate off the news stories. And he's one of my favorite YouTube channels. He's a funny guy, and he keeps it entertaining too. But yes. What disgusted me was not even the fact that they were doing that. It was the response from these white liberals. It was totally disgusting. Oh, well, they were so sympathetic. Oh, well, if they had, you know, things to do, it's the summer, and we're not doing enough to, like, yo, these people are coming to your neighborhood and destroying it. Like, wake up, man. They're destroying your neighborhood. This is where your families are living. This is where your wife and your daughter and your son, your kids are can't even play in the street.
Would these people accept it if their children behaved in that manner?
Probably not.
No.
I don't know. Probably not. I don't think so. But they have such a low opinion of these people that come from these urban neighborhoods, that they are like, oh, this is how they're supposed to act. No, this is not how they're supposed to act.
Racist.
That is racist.
That is racist.
But that is the thought process of a liberal, specifically a white liberal.
Hold people to a higher standard, because you know what? Unfortunately, a lot of the time, especially with kids, if you let them get away with the bare minimum, set a low bar for them, that's the bar they're going to live up to. Like, all the time. Set a high standard.
But the fact is, black people have been treated like kids for at least the past 60 years. We've been treated like kids by everybody. So it's there's no accountability ever being held or taken or so the black community is when they fail, it's like, oh, whatever. Nobody ever says no. You need to pick yourself up, behave yourself like an adult, behave yourself like a respectable person. Don't act a fool in the streets. Be respectable. Be a stand-up person. Be a good citizen. This is what is lacking. There's always some kind of excuse. Oh, Ray just killed Pookie. Oh, well, it's the system. Ray just raped Shaniqua. Oh, well, it's the system that held him down. Man can't read at an 8th grade level when he's in the 12th grade. Oh, it's the system. It's always a freaking excuse. I'm done with it. I don't have any time. Anybody that ever comes to me and tries to debate me with any kind of system nonsense or any kind of, I automatically cut the debate off. I stop and I don't even continue it. Any kind of excuse of some kind of BS systemic racism that doesn't exist, I cut off the debate. I'm done with it and I walk away because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
Which, circling back, is the core of critical race theory.
Absolutely,
is
yes.
It victimizes people of color.
And I hate that word "people of color," by the way. And I know it's like embedded in you, and you can't stop. You know, everybody says it. No. Black people, brown people, yellow people, white people, people of color. I don't like being bunched up in, or just call everybody American. You know what I mean? If we're going to bunch up people, call everybody American or just call them Black American. Yeah. And I know, like...
I'm not talking specifically exclusively about Black people, though. Like, if I'm talking specifically about Black people, I'll say Black people, but...
Or minorities. I will accept minorities. Yeah. I don't like the people of color. Because you want to know why I don't like it?
Right.
Because people will get triggered when you say colored people.
That has always been such a, like...
It's like, keep the same energy. If that's offensive, this is offensive.
Yeah. True. That one has
and
always
which is not really offensive to me. Honestly, it's not really offensive to me. It's just like, oh, you're trying to be politically correct, but it's like so lame. Like, make up your mind. Because that just makes me feel like this is all fake.
Yeah.
This is all fake. These words and this jargon that they use and they come up with, and I even saw them come up with something called Latinx, whatever the hell that means. And I've never heard a Latin person, and I've been around.
That's
Latin
because
people.
They hate it. For the most part, every Latin person I have talked to, Latino, Latina, they do not stand by it. And I don't know all of them in the world.
I don't know any of that. I don't even. Most of them don't even know what the hell it is. Most of them like, what the hell is a Latinx?
It's so stupid. It's like Womenex, Wimexin. It's so dumb.
What's that? Wimexin.
It's W instead of women. Coming back to, they're trying to cancel women.
Oh, is this how they're including trans women?
Yes, it's
my God.
WOMXN.
So what do they call men? Menix?
They haven't.
They haven't. You see? Here's my thing with... Now I'm all pepped up. Here's my thing with this whole trans... Why does it seem like they're making more of an effort to include trans women more than anything? They don't really try to include trans men, like, because... And here's my opinion of it. Because they know men, we laugh at it. We're like, nah. I mean, you can call yourself a man, but you're not a man. Really? Because you never see any trans men try to compete with men on a level where there has to be some masculinity implemented in any type of situation or any physicality implemented in any type of situation, because they will get knocked right back down. They can do it to the women. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but they can do it to the women because a man that is pretending to be a woman, trans person, whatever you want, a trans woman, whatever you want to call them, they have so much testosterone in their body naturally that they can just come in, kicking in the door, and all they got to say is, I'm a woman, or I'm a woman. You know what I mean? And women are just so accepting. They just want to be, they want to be accepting of everybody. They're just naturally caring. Nurturing. They're naturally nurturing. Yeah. They want to make people feel safe. They want to make people feel comfortable. Men, no, we're not like that. We're like, oh yeah? Really? We will knock that back down. Yeah. We won't accept it. Okay? That's just our nature. We just don't accept it. That's why you don't hear trans men like really being rah-rah about their whole situation. They just kind of stay in their lane, and they're not really very vocal like trans women are.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, and a reason I just explained. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, and they're doing it because they know women. They're taking advantage of women's their beautiful ability to be caring, their beautiful ability to be nurturing, their beautiful ability to accept everyone. They're taking advantage of that. You got people who have been pushing this drag culture, which is nothing but blackface for women. It's nothing but blackface for women. And women just accept it because they want to make everybody feel comfortable. You don't see any women do any, on a crazy level, doing any kind of blackface on men. You don't really see that.
Because it's not accepted within the community.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like they're shunned, which is
they're shunned. Men will laugh at that. It's like, really?
Yeah.
Or we'll be like, we'll pat him on the head. Oh, that's so cute. You're not a man. You're not a man. And it's one of those things that just always, like, I just don't understand. Like, these feminists, they have so much energy, and this is the thing. They are capable of fighting back. They are capable of fighting back. They are strong. Women are strong, and they are capable of fighting back. Yeah. And I do not know why they don't. I do not know why they accept it.
I don't know. That's what perplexes me so many times, because as I've said on the show before, I am a feminist, and I am mad. I can't grapple with it. I can't comprehend why more feminists aren't pissed off at the current state of affairs.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, women are literally being... There's a
their
new
identity.
affront on women. Their identity. Like, yes, being a woman isn't...
They are trying to erase women. They don't even... The whole thing, like, they're trying to change language. They're trying to muddy the waters. They're trying to blur the lines from what it means to be a woman. Giving birth is a beautiful thing. There is only one sex that can do that. That is a woman. And when you and there is a name for that person, and it's not birthing person.
No.
It is mother.
Mother.
Mom. Mama. If I ever heard my kids, if I ever have any kids, call me or call the mother of my child a birthing person, oh my gosh, the disrespect. But you have these school districts and these educational institutions that are trying to implement that stuff into the minds of our children, into the language of how they speak in schools. Birthing person? Really? You're going to disrespect the people who pay your salaries?
Yeah.
What a disgrace. These people are degenerates. They're all degenerates, and they're all scum. And they're the closest thing to a demon on earth I can ever think of.
I'm coming more and more to that realization, even if they don't realize, even if their heart is, in the right place. To me, I'm like, you're an agent. Like
100% agent. A lot of people, there are a lot of people who are agents. I don't realize, and I know that there has been a lot of people who have been driven to conservatism because of this type of stuff.
Case in point.
Yes, a lot of people have been driven to becoming a conservative, not because they want to do it. And this is being forced upon them.
I fully embrace it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm saying, like, and yeah, perfect example. Like because you know what? They didn't take their foot off the gas. They just kept going and going and going.
Too far, man.
Yeah, they don't
too far.
They don't take their foot off the gas.
No. And now I see like the car screeching towards the edge of the cliff, and I don't want it to go careening over and have everything end in a fiery blaze. Like, no, because that's exactly where this is headed, and that's what they actually want.
Yeah.
I'm not all leftist, but like the higher, elites, because it then ushers in, oh, look at the roadway is clear now.
Mm-hmm.
We can bring in our limos and
our champagne. And we can live our elitist life comfortably, and the rest of them can eat bugs and live in cots and struggle.
Yep.
But they all have health care that they have to wait 6 months. So we're doing the right thing.
Yeah. Everybody's equal now.
Everybody's equal. This is real equality.
Yeah, exactly. This is equity.
Yes, this is equity. No, real equality is the opportunity to be able to work and get what you earned. Mm-hmm. That is equality. The opportunity to do it. And no, that's not affirmative action.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, but aside from a select few, everybody has setbacks. Everybody has challenges. Everybody has to fight from one angle or another.
Mm-hmm.
So
nobody is oppressed. Nobody is oppressed in this country. I don't believe that. No group of people are oppressed in this country anymore. Those days are gone. Yeah. Those days are done. Those days are over. I refuse to accept or debate anybody who tries to come at me with that garbage. Yeah. I shut it down because it's a waste of time. I've seen it all because I've been on that side. I know all the talking points. I know everything about what you're going to try to come at me with, every single angle, because I used to be on that side. So it's not going to work on me. So there's no group of people that are oppressed as a whole. There are people who have messed up circumstances. Not going to lie about that. But as a whole, a group being actually oppressed, there is nothing that as far as the government goes, as far as the federal government goes, and as far as any local government goes, there's nothing that oppresses one group of people as a whole.
Yep. And again, is another flaw in critical race theory, is it takes away the accountability and the freedom and the just individualism of every single person as who they are as a being, where they're at, where they're going towards, right? It lumps everyone into categories rather than in order to deflect from the American dream that says you can do it. Mm-hmm. You can build your life into where you want to go. You are your own person.
Amen.
And yeah, it's sad.
Amen. Getting back on the critical race theory thing, I wanted to talk a little bit about the good doctor, Carlin B. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I think it's Orsenko.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
I think she's 100% correct in how she says it's racist to everyone. It affects everyone. It's bad for everyone. But she implied that anyone who thinks that critical race theory is anti-white is a white supremacist. she did not communicate what she may have meant very clearly.
Yeah.
And the way she reacted was, I mean, I know this sounds like stupid because it was unbecoming. I know that sounds stupid. I don't like to say that word because I think it sounds corny and stupid. Oh, that's very unbecoming of someone of her status and, platform that she has. And I don't know, man. I've never really been a big fan of hers. I do think that she's very intelligent.
Yeah.
Extremely smart. I think that she's a liberal. I'm going to just say it. I think that she's a liberal. She has those tendencies. And she's all about having this. There was a caller that called into her show that I really did not like. He asked her, "What do you think about the girl Gwen Berry who turned her back on our flag? That was so disrespectful." And he said, like, "Do you think that she should? Don't you think that why is she even representing the country if she's going to turn her back on the very country that provided her all this opportunity to become a successful athlete and an Olympian?" And she said, "Well, I think we should," something along those lines. Like, it just bothered me that everybody jumped on her and attacked her. I think we should just figure out where she's coming from and why she was, because she had a picture on her website where she took it down, but she had a picture of where she was wearing draping herself with a flag, and she got that way at some point. Something made her feel, no.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
No way.
Get that out of my face. That is the liberal in her that I do not appreciate. You're trying to see all these different angles. Well, how did she get there? No, I'm sorry. No,
you're taking an extreme. America.
Yeah,
no.
You don't live your whole entire life. You're draping yourself with the American flag, and it just 100% changes in like a year or a couple of years. It doesn't just change. What happened is this dumb woman watched CNN, watched one of these stupid news outlets and all this stupid BLM propaganda, and saw the stupid thing with the Colin Kaepernick with his grifting ass. She saw an opportunity to make money or to try to, grift.
Yep.
She doesn't care because she was just draping herself with the American flag just a couple of years ago. Stop it. Okay? Stop it. I don't want to hear it. This woman is a grifter. Point blank, period. Gwen Berry is a disgrace. I made a video on that woman too. She's a disgrace. She does not deserve to represent the country.
No. There are so many other athletes that could better represent America.
And she's selfish because she took away from the moment of her teammates that they just had a gold medal moment or a moment where they won a medal. She was taking away from those two women. Yep. How dare you? You are a selfish piece of crap.
Yep.
Garbage. And this woman, Dr. Karlin Boshinko, just tries to show some kind of angle of where she can understand. Get out of here, man. I don't want to hear it, man.
And herein lies the issue with the big tent, like, this
is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I mean. You're trying to put in all these people in this tent. That's why I reject. This is one of the reasons why I reject, and I don't really necessarily trust anybody that puts black conservative or black patriot or black whatever or any kind of something that acknowledges their identity, whether it be their sex, their race, gender, whatever you want to call it. If you are putting your identity into your name or your handle or whatever, I automatically don't even trust you. I automatically have is this dude grifting? I have to like take a double take and be like, yo, is this dude grifting? Because the identity politics, anytime you put yourself, no, I am an American. I am a patriot, or I like to believe that I am a patriot, and I stand up for patriotic values. I don't put any kind of identity politics on my. If you look on my my channel, on my about, on my YouTube channel, and on all of my Rumble and my BitChute, it says conservative political analyst. That's it. Nothing about my damn race, because that's not what's important. We have to come to a point where we're going to have to, because that's what divides everybody. I came into the conservative movement. I'm not trying to bring any kind of identity politics in. I made a video. Also made another video about the MAGA movement, how it's trying to be this big tent, like we were just discussing. Sorry, I'm rambling right now, but I'm so mad about how the MAGA movement, and which is why I'm actually like kind of distancing myself from associating, because they're trying to be this big tent. They're allowing all types of people to come in. I came into the MAGA, like this should be a strictly conservative movement that is based in Christian values. That's what the movement should be about. When you're trying to have this big old tent, you're trying to allow everybody in. I'm a minority. I assimilate. Okay? I assimilate into this movement. I may come from a background that is more of more left leaning, or more a family that votes strictly historically Democrat, a family that is more pro-black. I come from that. I am a person who is brought up from that, which is why I'm able to like see all the tricks and all of the nonsense that comes from that side, because I grew up in it. I'm coming into a new movement. I assimilate. I leave all of that out. I check that at the door. So when I'm coming into the movement, you're seeing a person that is down for accepting the values, accepting that culture, and trying to implement it in my life. Accepting the values. I'm not trying to add in any kind of identity politics, because that's when you start getting division. Check that stuff at the door, man. If you're not able to check it out the door, then you're just going to mess up the whole entire movement. It really makes me mad. It really does.
It's I went back and forth on it a little bit, because I was liberal. I have always had conservative roots, but like
I didn't have any conservative roots. I don't have a conservative bone that is rooted in my body until later in life.
Yeah.
So like at least you had the conservative values rooted in you.
Yeah. But even then it was like, oh, we should have same as Dr. Carolyn, oh, well, it'll be better off if we can just accept it. It's like, no, honestly, at the end of the day.
I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. Finish your point. That was rude of me.
Oh, no. That is just, I am at the point now where I'm like, no, I have had to have the conversation with myself that you've already had, and it's like, no, I have to be the one to change. Like, I can't, this touches on like religion too, right? Whole other conversation, but like, I can't expect everyone else to change their ways to accommodate me. Like, there's a reason why these core values have worked, why they've been successful. Mm-hmm. I can't twist them
and modify them and tweak them and do all this stuff
so that I'm comfortable. Like, that's not what it's about. Like,
yeah,
it's not it.
You know what? I would be much more like, maybe I would be a little bit more receptive to a big tent if these people that are coming in didn't try to make an effort to cancel people who want to keep those values.
Yeah.
Trying to cancel people who helped start this movement.
Right.
Try to cancel people and shun them out of the movement and get them out. These are outsiders. These are outsiders. I'm sorry, but that's what they are. Unless they come and 100% assimilate, they need to be rejected. They need to be rejected. I'm sorry.
Start their own party.
Yeah, start your own party. Start your own movement. I'm sick and tired of them trying to cancel people because they have a different belief on something. Like, I would, like I said, I would be much more receptive if they came in humble. But you're coming in from the left. You're coming in with your liberal roots and your liberal value system, and you're trying to enter a movement and you're trying to change it because you want to. No, man. I'm sorry. That's why I get, like, I feel for people like, what's his name? Bryson Gray.
Yeah.
Or I'll feel for somebody who is like, even though I don't agree with her on everything, Bevelyn Betty. Like, I feel for those type of people because they have just like, they were there from the beginning. They're out in the streets, like, and they're really like doing things for the movement, and they are just being shunned and kicked out, and they are being looked at as just, it's disgusting because these are the fighters that we need.
Yeah, passionate,
convicted. These are warriors, you know, and we're getting rid of them just so we can be more inclusive. And I say that as a minority. And those two people that I spoke of are minorities. Yep. You know? It's really, I don't know, man. It just pisses me off. But, yeah. I don't know. You want to talk about anything else? Anything else to
add? A minute ago, you had a thought.
I did.
Yeah. As I was talking about whatever point, and then you said, "Oh, I don't mean to cut you off."
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No. I think right now, I think that's everything that I kind of wanted to touch on. I do want to do a deeper dive on the critical race theory, but I don't feel quite prepared enough for it.
Yeah, I just know the surface. I don't know. I just know that it's bad. Yeah. I know that it's any time where it's not holding black people accountable, and at the same time you're anti-white. The first few points, when you read the first few points of their whole like theory, it's rooted in Marxism. It's like 100%. It's a Marxist theory.
Yeah.
It is rejected. It's a historical. It's not true. It's like we could talk about the 1619 Project and how that's all tied into the whole critical race theory. It's a lie.
It is a lie, and I think that's where I get most frustrated is when I hear the left saying, "Oh, conservatives want to ban, education about racism or history. They want to ban history." And I'm like, no, that's not it at all. Like, I advocate, yes, let's have these conversations in the proper setting, right? But when you're sitting there telling me that, I heard this quote, there's like, the air we breathe is rooted in racism. The water we drink is rooted in racism.
Because
I'm like,
the fireworks.
That's an objective lie. That's that's a lie, because America is not.
I'm
when you
tired.
Look at the laws. It is not rooted in racism. Go
I'm
ahead.
tired of being defensive. We need to get on the offense.
Yes.
I'm tired of saying, no, I'm not racist. No, that's not true. No. I'm tired of being, no, you guys are freaking idiots. You guys are liars. You guys are scum.
Yep.
You guys are demons. You guys are agents. You guys do not belong in the conversation if you're going to come with this nonsense. You guys need to be ousted. You guys need to be debunked and
Shamed.
just shamed and not even acknowledged. Not even acknowledged. We need to go on the offense. Yep. I'm tired of conservatives being so defensive. Like, it's like you're always on the back. It's like, you know when you're a boxer and you're up on the ropes and you're all like, conservatives are always on the ropes, and Democrats and the liberals and the leftists, they're always the ones that are putting the pressure on conservatives. They're always the one that are backing the conservatives in the corner. When are the damn conservatives going to get aggressive and stop caring about what, oh, they're racist, oh, they're this, they're that? I get it. January 6th, these people were able, in contrast, there were people who were able to riot and do all, and kill and steal and loot and do whatever they wanted. And there was nothing that was done about it. Yes, we understand. But we got to start pushing back. We have to start fighting back. It's just, I'm just sick and tired of not being on the offensive. I'm tired of being on the defensive. I'm tired of being called, oh no, you're just ignorant, you're just racist, you're just this, you're just that. And it's just like, I'm tired of just like, why don't we call you all of these things before you even have a chance? Critical race theory is 100% BS. BS. And let me tell you what is the truth. Actual United States history. This is true history. What you're pushing is bogus.
We don't have to skirt around. There are some ugly truths about what's happened in America.
Yes.
But I will be damned if I stand by and let all the positive aspects of America just be erased, gone. I wouldn't even say erased, turned around into something so vile, like that we can't even fly the American flag anymore.
American flag is considered racist now.
It's triggering.
It's triggering people. And then you got the people who were celebrating Juneteenth. They were celebrating trashing this country. Yep. Instead of celebrating the freedom of the slaves, what they were doing was dissing the country, instead of celebrating the slaves, they proceeded to use the opportunity to call this country evil. It's like, dang, why not celebrate the fact that we corrected a wrong?
Right, exactly.
Why not say, yes, America realized the original sin and corrected it?
Yep.
Why is that not? I don't get it. Why isn't that the main thing that is pushed? The main thing that is pushed is that America is evil.
Exactly.
America is bad. America is this. America is that. It's like, isn't this supposed to be a celebratory thing? Like, isn't this supposed to be something that is?
Yeah, it should be celebrated, and that's why I get so upset about critical race theory too. It's like, yes, there were certain things that were rooted in racism, right? Like that's slavery,
yes,
right? Like, yes, that did happen, but we grew, we have evolved, we have grown so much to say that we have to smash it all down now. You're telling me now's the time we gotta smash it all down? Hell no. You're out of your mind.
Yeah, and this whole thing about the 3/6 of a human, garbage, whatever the hell, that's garbage. It's nonsense. And when they say, even if the Constitution was meant for white men, like, the idea is what we strive for. The idea of having our own Constitution, the idea of the American dream, the idea, what Thomas Jefferson did was write a brilliant document that gave us sovereignty. It created our existence as a nation.
Yep.
It is the official document, and it is the contract between the people and the government.
Yep.
That is a contract, and that contract is supposed to be favorable to the people. But it's been dismissed. It's been, it was written by slave owners. It was written by
Whenever anybody says that to me, I, like you said, you immediately dismiss them. It's like, very clearly you haven't looked at the whole context of history and what was going on with the laws at that time revolving around
Thomas
slave
Jefferson
ownership.
Tried to make his slaves free, but he couldn't because it was against the law.
Right. Where would they go?
Where did they go?
Where would they go?
Oh yeah, where would they go?
Like,
he would have to slave in order to get rid of them, or not get rid of them, but like give them away. He would have to sell them.
Yeah.
And they would just be in the same predicament.
Right. And the system that they were building, the government, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't just, they're not a monarch, it's not a dictatorship. Like, anyway, that's a whole other rant. But when anybody says that to me, I have to immediately just roll my eyes and say either you're ignoring the facts and glossing over them to fit your narrative, or you're not well read enough to fully comprehend what was occurring.
Yeah, I mean, that was signs of the time, man. Slavery existed. Slavery existed. It still exists today, and slavery will always exist in some form of some capacity. So it is what it is. We got over slavery a long time ago. We had the Civil Rights Act, or the Civil Rights Movement, and the Civil Rights Act was signed.
Yep.
It's we're done with this. I'm done with this. We have all the opportunities. I, as a black person, can go and do whatever I want.
Right.
The decision is mine. Nobody is holding me down. Whitey is not holding me down. Some mythical white supremacy is not holding me down from doing or accomplishing anything. So it's whatever, man. I'm just done with trying to debate or talk with anybody about this situation. There was this woman, another woman, when we were talking about Olympics, the woman that got caught for weed. Mm-hmm. We can talk all day about like how the rules should be changed or whatever. Yes, maybe they should be more laxed on weed because it's not a performance enhancement drug. It has been used to mask other, performance enhancement drugs before. Maybe not as much, maybe not on a grand or a high, level, but the WADA and the USADA have points on why that substance is banned, that drug substance is banned. And this is the rules. And I was reading the comments, and she owned up to it. She said, this is my responsibility. I take full responsibility. This is my, wrongdoing, and I take full responsibility for this. And then you get all these comments. And Gail King and Jamil Hill had a conversation about it. And they're nothing but race baiters. They're nothing but grifters. They can't discuss anything without it being about race. And so they commented on it. I didn't even watch the video because I already knew what they were going to say, but I saw the comments. And this guy said, I'm tired of people trying to equate this. It was a black man. I'm tired of seeing people trying to equate this to race. When are black people going to stop blaming white people and holding themselves accountable? Every time when a black person does something, we want to handle it with kid gloves instead of holding that black person accountable. What she did was break the rules, and she's owning up to it, and she's going through the consequences. And then everybody in the comments wanted to call him a self-hater, a coon, and all that stuff, and saying that I can't believe you're a black man saying this. And of course, I responded to him because that really made me mad. I was like, why? Because he's a black man holding himself accountable? Is that why that triggers you? Is that why you're upset? Is because he's being an actual real adult about the situation? It's like they want us to be kids. Yeah. They want us to still be, they want us to be children. It's like, wow, they don't want black people to grow up. It's sad. It really is. It really is. And no other race has to, deal with this. Maybe LGBT has to deal with being handled with kid gloves. But black people, yes, for everything that they do. Everything, if a black person isn't held up in a favorable light, it's due to racism. Not because of what that black person did. Right. It's because racism, again, somebody did something to make that black person do something.
Right. It takes away their self-accountability.
Yes, and it makes them less than human, in my opinion.
Right. And in my opinion, it takes away their self-worth, too,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. But black people don't see it that way because they believe in this mythical entity that's keeping them down and making them make these horrible decisions. So as long as you have that, black people aren't going anywhere. They're going to be at the bottom, and they're going to stay at the bottom. And I've been trying these past 10 years to try to drive that point through and try to make it like, hey, wake up, like, come on. Don't you see what they're doing? And it falls on deaf ears for the most part. Maybe, I suck at communicating, so that's probably the big reason why, because I don't have any patience. I don't have any tolerance because I came from a situation to where everything was pro-black. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything
was just about the community. So it's like, if I can see it, why can't everybody else see it? It's kind of like, when Michael Jordan, and I'm not trying to say I'm on his level or anything, he would never be a good coach because he's so good at what he does. He doesn't understand that everybody else can't do what he does. So when he communicates with other people, he's like, he doesn't understand. Why can't you work hard, and why can't you be as skillful as me? Or why can't you? He doesn't know how to manage skill levels. So I'm kind of the same when it comes to like talking to black people, because when I talk to black people, when it comes to like politics, I get very, very ruthless, and I get very, very, I'm not nice at all. Mainly because of all the names I've been called, and mainly because of all and that's probably a fault of mine. Something that I need to work on.
But I think it comes from a place of caring.
Yeah, I do care.
Yeah.
I do care. And I'm tired of being looked at as a child. I'm tired of my community looked at as a bunch of children that don't know how to act. And I'm tired of liberals, particularly white liberals, that don't think that I'm capable or my community is capable. It's very insulting. So, yeah.
Well, You talk to the black community. I'll talk to the suburban white women.
Yes, please, because they, more than the black community, blacks are going to vote. Blacks don't, I don't even really think right at this point, because blacks vote so overwhelmingly one way, it doesn't sway anything one way or the other. White suburban women sway the election every year. That is who, and Latinos are starting to sway the elections.
Yep.
So it's white women, college-educated white women especially, who are swaying the election, along with Latinos. Fortunately, Latinos are starting to open their eyes because they're naturally conservative anyway. Same with blacks, but blacks are just brainwashed. So that is what it is. That's another topic.
Yeah. Well.
Yes, talk to all those suburban white women.
Okay.
Because they need your guidance.
I will do my best.
Yeah. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. This is Burning Spear Patriot signing off. But before I sign off, I want you to hit the subscribe button. I want you to hit the like button. And I want you to share this podcast and video with all of your friends and family. And yes.
And yes, I am Libby Lou Patriot. Ditto what Burning Spear Patriot said. It's much appreciated, and we really appreciate your support. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Signing off.
Good night.
Good night.